And I was scared to first ask that question because I was like, I don't want to already ask too much. But at the same time, I was like, this is my year to get my name out here. And it's coming to the end of the year. And I felt like this was something I needed to do. And they're like, yeah, you can be the showstopper. And I said, oh, like, actually, you can be.
On today's episode, we have Nanza Malcom-Joseph, a crochet apparel artist and multi-talented entrepreneur who hopes to have their designs in stores and on more runways in the near future. This is Sit Downs with SANE. Welcome to Sit Downs with SANE. Today we're sitting down with Nanza Malcom-Joseph. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Well, let's just hop right into it. As a business owner for like 11 years and the founder of Buka Boutique, I was wondering how you even got into the fashion world, especially with crochet.
Well, for me, I was actually not allowed to buy things from the Scholastic Book Fair, if anyone remembers those, until I begged my mom. And she was like, fine, you can buy one book, but you need to use it. So I went into the Scholastic Book Fair. I found a book. I saw something nice and cute in it, and I bought it. Did I know that it was crochet and knitting? No, I did not. But when she came and she's like, so you're going to learn how to knit now? And I said, yeah. And she actually helped me learn. She didn't know herself, but she was able to teach me through the book and through my skills already. So I kind of already was naturally able to grasp onto knitting. And that's how I started off. So I started off as knitting as a hobby. And I realized that when you get into knitting, then you open up more doors for yourself. And I got into crochet via YouTube. And from there, I started selling my stuff. And I sold it to people at school. I sold it to teachers. And I started my business from there. And I started it when I was 8 years old. At the time, my mom thought I was scamming people. She was like, where's this money coming from? And I said, oh, I'm selling my craft at my school. And she's like, what craft? And I showed her and she's like, you got a talent for this. You should do this more often. And she really fed into my curiosity when it came to crochet and knitting. So that's kind of how I got into it and how I got into more fashion. My family has always been into fashion. We've never gone anywhere and weren't stunting. So I've always been around fashion icons, in my opinion, and I kind of just gravitated to it. So I ended up working a summer, I believe, as a volunteer for African Fashion Week. And from there, I just fell in love with it. And I knew that that was going to be the path for me.
Wow. And like, obviously, first of all, we love a supportive mother. And I was wondering, like, when exactly was this African Fashion Week?
I believe African Fashion Week was 2019 or 2018, right before COVID was when I first did it. So I was in grade 8, I believe. And my dad's like, you're doing something this summer. And I was like, okay, what am I doing? And he said, you're going to help me work with African Fashion Week. You're going to just be a volunteer. They're going to show you around. You're going to work backstage, get to know the designers. And I was like, okay, sure. I really didn't think anything of it, but it really blossomed into something. Now I work with them a lot more, and I was able to be a backstage manager last year and actually help run the whole thing.
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And it's kind of like segues into each other.
Mhm.
But I was looking at your little page and I saw a couple things. So first thing that really caught my eye was that you were showcased in the 20 you showcased your 2025 collection at the Crowned Creatives at their end of year party.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what was the process like running your own show and like creating your own designs for that show?
So for that show, it was actually like kind of, it felt spontaneous in a way. I felt like I also manifested it in a way as well. So the spontaneous part was that they asked me the month of to be a designer and to showcase my work. At first though, it was a small gig. They're like, oh yeah, you could have like 1 to 2 pieces to showcase. And I said, can I have more? And I was scared to first ask that question because I was like, I don't want to already ask too much. But at the same time, I was like, this is my year to get my name out here. And it's coming to the end of the year. And I felt like this was something I needed to do. And they're like, yeah, you can be the showstopper. And I said, oh, and they're like, actually, you can be the main event. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And I ended up having 14 different models. I put a casting call out on my story. 50 people responded, and I was like, wow, there's so much community here. And I wanted to make sure that just as much as I was getting outreach that they were, and that they were getting seen. So I chose models of all shapes and sizes, and I wanted to make sure that they felt like that this was as much as their opportunity as it was for me. So I worked closely with them, getting their measurements, laughing, having a whole community, made group chats, really felt like a family. I also ended up making the music for the walk. Yeah. So when I say I kind of did a lot for this, it was all in less than 30 days.
Wow.
And I also made all the garment pieces in less than 30 days. So I made, I think, about 24 pieces. Yeah, in total on 14 models. And I was literally crocheting up until the runway start. I had people in the back, like, kind of stalling a little bit because I was sewing pieces onto models. I was making garments on the model because what had happened was um, one of my, not even one, a lot of my models ended up having to drop out for some reason, reasons I won't get into, but some of them had to drop out. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do from here? And I had such great community around me, and I was in the sewing labs at the school, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting ready for my fashion show. It's tomorrow." And one of my friends in that class was like, "Do you need an extra model?" And I said, "Yes, I do. Would you model for me?" It's like tomorrow. She's like, "I got you." And she came bright and early the next day, and I made her an outfit right there and then.
Oh my God.
And I feel like that was, like, such a huge pivotal moment for me because I was like, I have so much going for me, and I have these people around me who wanna see me succeed. So this fashion show that I did, and it was my first ever one too, I felt like this was the start of something big for me to come for the next year, which is this year.
For sure. And it's only up from here. For
Exactly.
sure. Um, on the topic of that, there is one particular model that kind of stood out to me. Their name was Blazing Star. I don't have like their actual
Yes,
gov.
Blaze.
Okay, Blaze. Oh, is that their
Yes.
gubby?
I believe that's their chosen name,
Okay.
but I love her. I met her actually through African Fashion Week.
Oh, the
Yes.
connection, the networking never fails, never
Exactly.
fails. But I love the piece that you made for them. I was wondering, like, what's your creative process, like design wise?
So I've been told I kind of work backwards. So I don't draw out my designs at all. I work from what's in my head onto the actual garment itself. So I'll have a ball of yarn and I'll have my crochet hook, and I'll just see something in my head and start crocheting, and it comes to life for me. Um, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you're supposed to draw your ideas out and then start your pattern process and everything," but I go straight into manufacturing because for me, that's how my brain is wired and that's how my creative process is. So when I'm working, I'm a lot of the times doing first, then making the technical stuff later. So I also work with my models, so I get their measurements, and then when I see them, I instantly have a kind of outfit ready for them in my head. That's what really helped me with picking my models. A lot of them, when I saw their walks and their powerful walks, I was like, I can already see you in one of my pieces, and I know exactly what I'm going to put you in. Yes, you're one of my models. So that was a lot of what I was doing. I was like, I didn't have anything drawn down, and they had complete trust in me that I was going to be able to execute it just from my mind.
Wow, no, that's like really impressive. I find that when we're taught as artists, we're always taught to like plan out every little step. I love how you approach it in such an unconventional way and come up with the best unconventional and not only inspirational, but so unique of designs. And on the note of being unconventional, I was wondering if you had any unconventional art or artists that you would love to speak about.
Yes. Okay. So there's this artist. I actually found her on TikTok, and her name is Color Puff Girl or Bella. And I've been following her for a while now. She's based in Australia, but she has extravagant pieces of crochet wardrobe. Like when I say you will see her work and be in awe on how she's even able to come up with these concepts. One of my favorite pieces from her right now was called, I believe it was called, yes, Stardust. And it won her at the competition in Australia that's at a wearable art fashion festival, and she's won 2 years now in a row, 2023 and 2024, and I absolutely fell in love with all of her pieces. Like when I say she never has a flop piece, she never has a flop piece. Her whole vibe is vibrant colors, um, kind of kid like bring back your childhood when with the color schemes that she uses. And I feel really drawn to it because I can feel the kiddish play like feel from her art. And it really makes me strive to be better and strive to make more outlandish stuff and just go for it because at the end of the day, crochet is an art form as well as a way of wearing clothing and wearables and garments. But for me, I feel like I also can be an artist in the way of when I'm making my stuff. So she's really been someone who I look up to and really love when she comes out with new things.
Sure, for sure. And do you know anything about like the process that you find very interesting or
Yeah. So for her, she was kind of bringing her people along for the ride. So she had this series called like 200 and something days till the festival. And she would start with her process work. She had her mood board. She even printed out her Pinterest board, put it in her notebook, and had her references from that, was able to create her pieces like that. And I was like, that's such like something that no one really thinks about to print out your Pinterest board, like
Yeah.
the actual whole thing and just put it in there. And she was able to actually look at the whole thing while making her art. But I love that she brought us along for the journey. Like every single day, she had a post telling us what she was doing, what next steps she was on, but never really telling us exactly what the piece was yet. So it didn't give away the surprise of the garment.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never really thought about doing that, but I have heard people love to watch the journey.
Yeah,
So taking them along with you, like it gives them a little bit of a sneak peek, but it's like a taster.
exactly.
For
And it
sure.
kind of also builds your community.
Mm,
Yeah, because people want to be a part of your up and coming
mm-hmm,
self because at the end of the day, people love to be in the know
mm-hmm,
and people want to know who's up and coming next. So in order to like really profit from it, I'm guessing, she was able to make a series out of it and it lasted for a long while. It was like 200 and something days. So of course, when I saw that, I was like, I was watching, I was in it, and I was like, I loved every second of it, especially as an artist myself. To be able to see someone else's process was inspiring for myself
mm,
to make my own stuff.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned art and community because in our community, we have a little bit of a tradition where we have each artist
Mhm.
or guest write a question for a future guest
Okay.
in our sit downs with SANE book on display. So I'm going to read out a question that one of our previous artists have, and we will get an opportunity to not only answer it, but pose another question.
Okay.
All right. All right. So hmm, the question is, as a creative, do you get any blocks of creativities or stump in the creative process? If so, how do you get over it?
That's a thinker. I would say, yeah, there's been times where I felt like I wasn't creative enough, where I wasn't at my best or making the most out of my talent. And I honestly had to look at myself and be like, hey, let's go back and look at all the things you've achieved so far.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, we're always striving to be better and to reach a new goal. And that also sometimes makes us forget all the things that we've already achieved. So my 2025 year was such a hectic year for me. And I had ups and downs, highs and lows. And through it all, I felt like I was losing my connection to my art. And I had to take a step back. And I was like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like I'm not going further in this? And what am I going to do to make sure I'm not feeling like this again? And I had to really look at myself and be like, I have made so much progress within this year that I know if I didn't do anything else this year, I could be proud of myself still. And so you have to really look at it like you are only competing with yourself. Do not compete with others because guess what? They're not you. So for me, I'm always looking at what have I done before and what can I achieve now? What is future Nanza able to do that past Nanza couldn't? Like when I was younger, I could not make a garment piece. now I'm out here making dresses. I'm making everyday wear. I was making headbands, stuffed animals when I was younger. I'm like, to see how far I've come and like to be able to also do this without patterns, like people, like I seem to forget sometimes. I'm like, I am doing it. And I got to tell myself, you are doing it because at the end of the day, you're doing it. You just need to let yourself see the progress. But yeah.
And you said you weren't going to say any wise words. So you just dropped a bunch of wisdom on all of us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Oh, it was a pleasure being here.
Thank you. And I'm glad that we were able to catch you before your stuff is being sold in all stores, all across America, South America,
Blackout.
the world, honey.
And thank you guys for sitting down with us. Stay tuned because there's more at the table on Sit Downs with SANE.